Now, I've never met a person who doesn't enjoy a good story. And there was a village long ago where everybody liked stories. They would gather around the fire and they would tell tales, but they only told tales about one particular subject, and that was the unseen terror. The wise man of the village would start. He would stand up and he would describe how the unseen terror was as tall as 100 trees, as wide as 80 houses, and that it would crush your bones as soon as look at you. And once he had finished his tale, his wife would look at him and go, "Tsh, tsh, tsh. That's not it at all. The unseen terror is invisible, and it would suck the flesh off your bones before you had time to think, oh dear." And once they'd finished, well, other people would join in. It had 1,000 eyes, 1,000,000,000 arms. It was like a snake. It was like a huge, great dinosaur. Everybody had their own version of what the unseen terror truly was. And just like every person has their own version of what truly, truly terrifies them. But there was one little lad who listened intently to these stories, and his name was Durgen. And he would sit and listen to all the different stories, and he'd think to himself, but I want to know what the unseen terror really looks like. And so he would go around the village, and he would ask each person, "Excuse me, what did the unseen terror look like the last time you saw it?" And they would laugh at him, until he finally got round to the wise man, and he asked him exactly the same question. "What did the unseen terror look like the last time you saw him?" The wise man started to laugh. "The unseen terror the last time I saw him? Oh, that's a good one. The reason he's the unseen terror is because he's never been seen. The only thing you ever see is the damage and destruction he leaves." But that wasn't enough for Durgen. He made up his mind that very moment that he was going to go off around the great big wide world and find out what the unseen terror looked like for himself. So he packed his bags, and first thing in the morning he left the village, to the sobs of his mother and to the laughs of the other villagers, who thought he was as mad as a badger, who can get very mad if you start to pull faces at them. And he left. And he started to walk, and he searched and he searched and he searched, and he looked high and he looked low, he looked round and he looked about. And the first time he stopped, he asked people if they had seen the unseen terror, and he saw destruction all about, and they said, "Yes, the unseen terror has been here, but the unseen terror was here about a month ago." And so Durgen carried on walking, and the next time he stopped, he asked the same question, and they said, "Oh yes, the unseen terror has been here. He's been here about a week ago." And the third time he stopped, he asked the same question once more, and they said, "Yes, the unseen terror was here a day ago." And as Durgen looked around at the ground, there was blood and guts and gore, broken trees, smashed houses, and he saw the devastation for himself. And so he walked a little bit further until he came to a lonely mountain, and there he stood. And in that moment he realized he was where he wanted to be, for there was that sinking feeling in his stomach, that cold spine tingle going up and down, and he knew for sure that something was watching him. Then, with a mighty roar, as loud as thunder and as quiet as a whisper, he heard it, the unseen terror. And he turned around, and there it was, coming closer and closer and closer. Durgen. His heart beat so loud and so hard that he couldn't hear his brain scream, "Run!" His feet froze to the ground. The colour started to drain from his head, down his face, even his clothes, and out through his toes into the ground. And there he stood, stock still, frozen to the spot, as white as a statue, as that unseen terror got closer and closer and closer with it. The trouble is, I don't really know what the unseen terror looks like, because I wasn't stupid enough to go looking for it. But Durgen still stood there, right to this very day, as still as a statue and as white as marble, looking at the place where that unseen terror once was. I say once, because it's not there anymore. It's out there, somewhere. Pleasant dreams.